My name is Bosco Cowley. I work with MSD Animal Health. We're the largest veterinary company in Ireland, and we supply a wide range of vaccines and other products for use in sheep in Ireland and indeed in other countries as well. The topic we're here to talk about today is Schmallenberg virus and how it can be managed in a flock. The Schmallenberg virus was discovered in 2011 in a little small town in Germany of the same name, and subsequently it spread right across Germany and a variety of different European countries. It caused significant losses in terms of both cattle and sheep, specifically through mainly deformities and loss of pregnancies. So effectively animals that were delivering these either calves or lambs were giving real difficulty in terms of getting the fetuses out, often requiring veterinary assistance, often resulting in the need for culling of the dams concerned. What can we do about it? It's a vector-borne disease. It's carried by a midge, and indeed there are a variety of different species of the midge that carries this virus, and they're all present in Ireland. What can we do to control? Well, in terms of vector control, not very much, because while we can use pour-on medications, they're not particularly effective at controlling the overall population, because the population of midges is so vast during the midge season, which extends from actually pretty much the end of March right through to the end of November. It's a very long season, and indeed even with a mild winter there's a suggestion they can overwinter as actually live midges. So the best way to control Schmallenberg infection is to vaccinate either sheep or cows in advance of pregnancy. MSD Animal Health were the first company to produce a Schmallenberg vaccine, and they introduced it to the market in the middle of 2013. The feedback on the vaccine so far has been very positive. The success rate in terms of controlling losses has been particularly good. It's given as a primary course of 2 shots in cattle and a single shot in sheep, and it is given roughly about a month prior to the start of pregnancy. The reason for that is because the majority of the losses and the infection timing in pregnancy happen from about a month in to 3 to 4 months in, depending on the species concerned. So you want the animals immune prior to exposure. So as a result, you vaccinate the animals concerned before pregnancy, and then subsequently the boosters that are required, the interval that the animals are immune for is not yet known, because this is a very recently researched vaccine. As we said earlier, the disease only started in 2011, and yet we have a vaccine in 2013, which is quite an achievement. The reality is that we don't have any treatment. So the actual virus cannot be treated with a medication like an antibiotic or whatever else. The only treatment that I alluded to earlier is the inhibition of midges coming near an animal or killing of midges from the animal. But the reality is that the use of those products is not a guarantee that infection won't happen. So in other words, a midge can bite, can transmit disease, even if the products are used on the animal concerned. So there isn't a treatment. If you vaccinate animals, then what we found from use of vaccine in blue tongue control is that it literally stops the disease in its tracks. And there was quite a degree of uptake of Schmallenberg vaccine in 2013 in Ireland. So as a result, we suspect that that's actually the reason why it hasn't really spread. Now, there are other reasons put forward, like climatic factors, the fact that we had a long dry summer that may have inhibited midge activity. But certainly we view the fact that so much vaccine was taken up in sheep and the very low incidence that we've seen of subsequent disease to be a very positive development. The distribution of disease is effectively the southeastern part of the country. So if you talk to farmers in Wexford, in Kilkenny, they really know what this disease causes and the clinical impacts of it. In terms of the serological studies that the Department of Agriculture do, they've monitored it mainly in cattle and then less so in sheep, and what they've found is that it has spread to a roughly line below Dublin to Galway, now with a clustering down towards Wexford. So it has effectively advanced up the country, but the prevalence further up, as in Donegal, Monaghan, is extremely low.
In terms of the Schmallenberg virus, which was a new disease which struck an awful lot of early lambing sheep farms in 2013, it came very much by surprise. We didn't anticipate it would cross the English Channel as quickly, or the Irish Channel as quickly as it did. It swept up through the eastern part of the country from a line more or less east of the Shannon, and hit in particular early lambing flocks, and those that were worst affected were those that had synchronized lambings, where that synchronization coincided with the timing for infection. Schmallenberg in individual flocks can cause a lot of harm or damage in terms of abortions and misformed, unviable lambs being born, where it strikes, particularly in synchronized flocks, at a particular time in the gestation period where the sheep are naive to the disease. But if we look across a large number of flocks, the damage is in single percentiles, so it's a relatively, small effect. But having said that, in individual flocks, we can see very high levels of losses, up to 40–50% of lamb mortality, where it just happens to be unfortunate that the flock is hit at a particular time in the gestation, and where they're very synchronized in terms of their conception or lambing dates.
So that's pretty much a summary of Schmallenberg virus and its control. And if you want further information, then I suggest that you contact your local veterinary practitioner or indeed MSD Animal Health. Further information is available on our website, www.msd-animal-health.ie. Thank you very much.